And, boy, we are really fortunate to have with us a welcome return guest this morning, Gerald Celente, who is the publisher of the Trends Journal. And the latest edition of the Trends Journal, the spring edition, is out. And it has the Trends Journal is history before it happens. And we want to talk about what's in the Trends Journal with Gerald Celente as he joins us right now. Good morning, Gerald.
Good morning, Mark.
Great to have you back with us. And by the way, you're lucky that you're there and not here today, because it's just going to be an absolute mess on the Monterey Peninsula today with the vice president being in town.
You know, what a bunch of baloney this is. The same thing in New York. Are you kidding? They closed down part of the subways. I mean, the East Side Drive, excuse me, the East River Drive. I mean, one thing after another. You know, they just keep when El Presidente shows up in his entourage. I mean, this joint is turning into a banana republic. And it's not just only Obama, you know, same thing with Bush and the rest of them. And the people, you know, they just keep following this baloney and keep believing in it. And it just astounds me that adults could still buy into this two-bit freak show as I see it. And again, I'm not only talking about Obama, Bush, Romney, you know, the whole group, Clinton. I just got back from Germany. I was in Berlin. And I'm saying to myself, this country, Berlin must have been grander than Paris before it was bombed out. And I spent a lot of time in Paris. You see these beautiful buildings in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and then all new construction between them because it was all bombed out. You go to Frankfurt, you go all over, the same thing. And I'm saying, how can these grand people, I mean, these are Germans, you know, Einstein, Goethe, Bach, Beethoven, Wagner, how could they let a two-bit freak destroy them? Well, and this is what's going on worldwide. It's a two-bit freak show.
Yeah, and it's debt that did it. I mean, if you know, just this weekend we had a program on about how it was the terms of the Versailles Treaty that led to the rise of Adolf Hitler, and it was debt and inflation, massive inflation in the Weimar Republic that created the stage for Hitler to take over. He was democratically elected.
And also, it was austerity measures. That was the big one. But again, it's not only Hitler, and it's not that thing. That's not it. This is the point I'm trying to get. Look, I'm Italian. I mean, you go look at the Italians. No, I mean, not for nothing. You know, Michelangelo, Da Vinci, Puccini, Rossini, Caruso. I mean, come on. You know, Galileo. How could they let a two-bit freak destroy their country?
They did.
I mean, they did. And it's the same thing going on everywhere. It's a two-bit freak show. And people they're looking up to two-bit freaks. Like you said, pay $1,000 to see, or whatever it is, to see Biden. They just had $40,000 at dinner with Obama here in New York City. $40,000. Oh, democracy, freedom, yeah, sure, kiddies.
You know, and let's go to the cover of the Trends Journal, because recently, Gerald, you gave an address to a service club back in your area, and you brought a number of copies of the latest Trends Journal with you, and apparently those Trends Journals were taken off of display and disposed of because somebody complained that the cover of the Trends Journal magazine was offensive to a number of people. Now, let's describe it, and I don't call it offensive. I call it instructive.
You describe it, so it's coming from a non-biased source.
So the front page is we see train tracks, right, with rail cars on them, and they've got the stars on them, the U.S. stars, and they say "Made in the USA." And then there are guard towers, and behind the train cars, the rail cars, and there's a sign above the rail cars that say "Next train to Auschwitz, all aboard, kiss those calories goodbye." And then you have morbidly obese, somnambulant Americans marching to the rail cars to get onto those trains, and of course they are the epitome of all that is wrong with America today. The focusing on pop culture. One person is wearing a World Wrestling Federation shirt. Another guy is holding a boom box. You have another person wearing a baseball cap with "I Love Bieber" on it, and a woman holding a purse that says Kardashian. And this is the focus of so many of the American people, is the pop culture universe they live in, eating their junk food in front of the idiot box night by night, and not caring the least that the freedoms that they were given by the founders are being taken away from them at a breathtaking pace. And these people are just They're just content to eat their marshmallows and watch their mind-rot television.
And that's it.
And that's offensive.
That was offensive. It was Rotary International was their district conference. Mm-hmm. And by the way, you know what their slogan is? Peace through service. Peace. The Trends Journal is nothing but peace. Peace and prosperity. That's what it's about. How to find opportunities in the future and showing you what's going on in the present. As you said, history before it happens.
Yeah.
But someone found it offensive, and that's what's going on in America, and it's going on around us. You see what we just read about Google getting thousands of requests from government authorities to remove YouTube videos and content. We all know that. Look, I'm not on a lot of the mainstream media. I used to be on Oprah, the Today Show, CNN, Good Morning America, all of them, NPR, down the list. They don't want to hear what I say because it offends the special interests, the entrenched interests.
And it offends them because you know why? Because it scares them that people might pay attention to what people like you are saying.
We have a slogan, the truth in trends. If there's one fact that's wrong in our Trends Journal, show it to us. If you don't like the conclusions we make, that's a different thing. But it's totally factual. Yeah. I'm a political atheist. I don't believe in this baloney. I look at things for the way they are, not the way I want them to be. So now this is a 44-page, full-color magazine with no ads. There were over 200 people there, and I graciously gave them to them as a gift. And this happened, by the way, just before I was to go on to the stage. My friends asked me, what did you do? Them knowing me, I would have told the guy to go shove it and walked out. But I didn't. I did all the things I've been practicing for the last 30 years. Meditation and close combat, martial arts. I go into a whole different state, and I delivered the presentation flawlessly and without having any interference from what just happened.
What was the response from the audience to the things that you had to say?
Oh, it was great because what I did was I was telling the Rotarians how they could bring young people into the service organization. Having all these kids that are with college degrees and worthlessness that they can't find jobs, and here it is as an organization of business people and professionals, and how wonderful it would be for them to bring these young people in, mentor them, and at the same time do wonderful service work. And then not for nothing, that's a lot of money's worth of work that I gratuitously did. I get paid very well to do talks around the world. I speak in front of princes and presidents. I'm not bragging. You go to my website, trendsjournal.com, and you'll see what I do and who I am, as you well know. And I did this as a favor to the locality, which brings into mind that wonderful phrase, no good deed goes unpunished. And the other thing I told them to do is I asked them this question, does anybody know what Mondelez is? Do you?
No, I don't. What is it?
Mondelez is the new name that Kraft is giving to a segment of half of their business. And the parts that they call it Mondo for world and Delice for delicious. They'll make up anything. And for their snack foods and other junk that they sell. So I asked them, do you know what Mondelez is? And of course, nobody knew. And I said, here's Kraft. They're rebranding. You may want to consider rebranding Rotary. What is a Rotary? What's a Rotarian? So I gave them valuable information. And again, I never even brought up the incident. I'm bringing it up now because this is precisely what's going on. Everybody's led into the cattle cars. You look at that Trends Journal. Look at the information inside. Oh, the National Defense Authorization Act. Oh, that's right. El Presidente could say, get rid of Celente. We don't like what he's saying. He's a threat to the state. He associates with terrorists. Boom, I'm gone. I have no judge, no jury, no writ of habeas corpus, no charges. The military could come and take me away. That's right, boys and girls. El Presidente signed that on New Year's Eve. Oh, it gets better. El Presidente signed an executive order. That's right. If there's a potential, catch the word, potential. Remember all those red alerts, orange alerts, yellow alerts? A potential alert, terror alert. He could call martial law, take over the banks, the businesses, the farms, the factories, anything.
It's all in there.
It's all in there. This is all fact. You may not like it because I don't either. Oh, and by the way, people say to me, Be calm. Yeah, just like those people that boarded those trains. Be calm. Bend over. Oh, that's the other one. Look at the wonderful, wonderful new Supreme Court ruling. That's right, Mark. You're driving along, you had one drink too many, just one, a little bit over the level, and you say to the cop, listen, I only had a glass of wine, 2 glasses of wine. You better shut your mouth. Boom. You know what the Gestapo do. They lock you up. They throw you away. If any you get arrested for any minor violation and get put in jail, take your clothes off. Bend over. Spread your legs. That's the Supreme Court ruling. Oh, you know who's the friend of the court? This just happened a couple of months ago. The friend of the court, our Solicitor General under the Obama administration, Verrilli. Oh, no. We're not turning into a fascist state. It's all in your mind. Look what the government just did with this Roger Clemens thing. How much money did they spend prosecuting this guy?
About $10 million.
$10 million.
Chump change to them.
It's our money. And what did they do to John the Slime Corzine of MF Global, the guy that can't find $1.6 billion of my money which was robbed?
Nothing.
And people better get this straight. The word justice is spelled J-U-S-T-U-S. Just us, not them. And that's what's going on around this country. So they found the Trends Journal too provocative, the cover. It offended someone. Next train to Auschwitz, all aboard. Who did it offend? Did it offend an obese person because they're filled with obese people? That's a fact. America's the most obese nation on earth. And by the way, we're never going to solve the health problem as long as people keep eating crap and are grossly overweight. I mean, it's as simple as that. You're never going to solve it. I don't care what the plan is. Oh, what else? Who else is offended? A Jewish person? A German person? What, because they don't like the word Auschwitz? 240 million people were killed in the last century. I mean, it's not only, one nationality or one religion. I mean, look what's going on now. So what did Americans kill? What, you just killed a million people over in Afghanistan, Iraq in the last 10 years? Cost us $1 trillion for a war based upon lies. There was no weapons of mass destruction and ties to Al-Qaeda. You don't see anybody getting called up on any questioning on that. Hey, let's bygones be bygones.
Gerald,
we got new wars to prosecute.
John Edwards was right when he said there are two Americas. There is the America of the elites that are ensconced in government and their friends, and they have one set of rules for them. And then the other America is the one that you and I and the rest of my audience and the rest of America live in, where there's a set of rules for us imposed upon us by the other group. And that's what it really comes down to.
You got it. And it's clear. Too big to fail. Too big to fail. We got to give the money to the bankers, because if the bankers don't keep making their hundreds of millions of dollars, it's going to kill us all.
By the way, Gerald, as we head out here, an appropriate piece of music that we'll dedicate to the Vice President and the President. This is called El Presidente.
It's perfect.
It is perfect. The cheering crowds as they clutch their photographs.
Oh, beautiful.
Of
wonderful.
Il Duce,
Yeah, tears are rolling down my eyes.
Oh, boy.
Listen, don't forget the Trends Journal. Help spread the word of peace and freedom.
Absolutely. Gerald Celente has been our guest. Trendsresearch.com. That's where you find the Trends Journal. Sign up to receive it today. You'll get great information there. Gerald, thank you so much for your insight this morning.
Hey, thank you for having me.
All the best. 626 Fox News Radio, 1460 AM and 101.1 FM.